Okay, in this video we're going to talk about how to create the auxiliary section view part and the section itself. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So first thing we should do is take a look at the drawing and come up with some ideas on how we're going to approach this. What you can see here is in the front view you can start to gain some information on diameter through the information down here, and then also here's diameter information on the top view. See that this is a circular part. And that these additional rings sort of stack up here like an upside down wedding cake. So let's go ahead and jump into Inventor and start drawing the part. So I'm going to grab a 2D sketch, place it on a plane, grab my circle tool and pull, and we'll go ahead and start out with that 6-inch diameter circle first, and we'll go ahead and finish and set that extrusion up. And we're going to jump back into the drawing here and see that that 6-inch diameter circle has an extrusion here of 0.5. So we'll jump back in here and set that extrusion depth at 0.5. Now we're ready to continue building. So we'll go ahead and spin this thing around. We'll make this now the bottom. Well, we'll keep the cube looking somewhat correct. So then we'll go to here, jump onto the bottom here. And now we'll keep drawing. So I think the next one is going to be a 5. Whoops. Come back and take a look. What is that next one supposed to be? So the first one is 6. The next one is 5. Let's go back and do that then. Alright, so we're going to come out 5. There's my 5. Finish the sketch. We're going to extrude that. Okay. And that 5 is 0.75. So we'll come back to here. We're going to do 0.75. There we go. Alright, so continue on. The next thing is we're going to do 2.25 center, and that's going to be a 1-inch extrusion. So again, start 2D sketch, drop it on the bottom, and start this out 2.25. Finish the sketch and extrude again. See sort of a repetitious 1-inch working here. So now we're good. Now we got to start working on the top. So we can start taking a look at this. I can see that the length of this part is given from 2 places. One from this center line, and that's 2.75. That's going to be the dimension we're going to use, as well as this dimension here, this 4, from the top of the angle down to the surface of the disc. So we're going to work with both of those and the 135. What we need to do is we need to get an angled work plane that is going to be then parallel to the top of the surface, and then we're going to do an offset work plane that distance of 2.75. So let's go ahead and start setting this up so we can work that out. So I'm going to jump back into Inventor and grab a sketch, drop it on the face, and I just need to get a line to start working with because I need to get an angled surface. So to set that up, I'll grab my work plane, I'll select the line and then the surface, and then I can see that I'm going to turn this angle. So the information I was given was that 135 for the angled surface, so that's going to work out just fine. So we'll do a 135. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the green check. Now I want to take, and this time I definitely want to do an offset plane. So I'm going to select that surface and pull up. And this is where I'm going to set up. And so this is going negative. I'm going to do negative 2.75. And then that sets that work surface up away from that part for me. Okay, so with that set, I can go ahead and grab my sketch, drop the plane on the face, and now I can continue to sketch. So now I got to figure out, well, what size circle am I working with? Well, that's where that auxiliary comes into play. So I know that I'm going to set up 2 different circles here. One, this is going to be 1.25, and then an interior circle or surface that's going to be 1.5. So we're going to go back here into Inventor, and I'm coming out. Now that was a radius, so I'm going to change this up to radius. I'm going to do 1.75. I'm sorry, 1.25. So we'll do 1.25. That's the outside surface. So what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and just extrude this first before doing anything else. So finish the sketch. I'll grab my extrude tool, and I want to now extrude to the surface. Now, if I just pull this out, it's not going to really work the way I want. I want this to actually miter into the surface. So I'm going to now go ahead and grab this tool. This is the to surface tool, and then I select this surface, and then it actually projects and has a nice miter to the surface. So that takes care of that extrusion. Now what I'm looking to do to get a hole through here is look at the hole. This hole actually comes down and sort of blends together again on a mitered surface. So I want to use a sweep tool to do that. So we'll learn a different tool here as well. So as I jump back in, I'm going to go ahead and put the profile on this particular face. I'll go ahead and grab my circle tool and pull this out, and I believe that that is also a diameter, and that's 1.5. Okay, so I have a 1.5 diameter circle here. Good. And then I'm going to set up my sweep edge. So to do that, I need to create a half section view and draw right down through the middle of this part. So to do that, I need to go ahead and get a line that I can utilize for that. So I'm going to hit Finish Sketch here, and then I'm going to get back onto the sketch that I used on the surface here. That would be this sketch. So I'll jump back into this sketch, and I'm going to then create a line that's going to go just here through the middle, and then I can utilize that line to set up a new work plane that is at a 90 degree to this part. So you can see that that work plane would be going directly straight through the part. Alright, so that's good. We'll hit that. And now I can take and put a sketch on that new work plane. Now, to make life a little easier, let's do a half section view. So let me actually get out of the sketch here. Let's do View, pull down half section, or pull down my View tab and actually select half section and click on that work plane. What that's going to do is cut half of this part away, which is great. So I'm going to hit that green check. Now I can start working that sketch that I just had placed there. So I'll go back to set that sketch on the face. Now I'm ready to draw. And when I'm drawing on this, you can see I'm actually drawing right through the center of the part. I can see what I'm doing. So it helps out an awful lot. Grab my line tool, and we need to go from center point here, coming straight down to point, and then straight down to point. Good. So now I have my sweep location here set, and I think this geometry here might cause me a problem. We'll see what happens here. Let's go ahead and try the sweep out. So we're going to use that profile, and then let's tell it the path that we want is going to run straight down through. Nope, that worked out fine, probably because it's on a different sketch. It's not finding that geometry. So with this profile, you can see that it's going to run down through here. Now, the problem is that it's joining right now. It wants to create geometry. I don't want to create. I want to come over here and select Cut. So it's red, and we're now going to cut. So I hit the green check, and you can now see that I'm working right down through the center of the part and modeling all the same time while I'm viewing it. So if I get back into here and say End Section View, now I can see that this is my full part all taken care of. Last thing we need to do here is add a little supportive rib to this part. So we'll go back to the drawing and take a look. The rib looks like it's 0.5 thick, and looks like the thing comes off the surface here, a little offset from the surface at 0.25, and then the height is looking like it's a 1-inch height. So let's go back into Inventor. I'll go ahead and put a sketch on the face here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to offset this geometry here. So go ahead and use my project, grab my offset, click and pull, and type in 0.25. So that offsets that edge in 0.25. And then we'll go ahead and create some rib geometry here. We're not going to use the rib tool. We'll do this a little differently. But I'm having trouble seeing through this part. So let's do that again. We'll grab the View tool. We'll grab half section. This time we're going to select the surface. And that's exactly what I want to do. So I hit the green check, and I come back out. And you can see this is where I'd want to be drawing. So with that good, get back into that sketch. I did my offset. And now we can keep drawing. So let's come out from the center, make sure things link up. And I'll use my offset tool this time, because I remember that thing was 0.5 overall. So if I come and offset this by 0.25 in each direction, that works great. Now I just need to look like, need to do some trimity. And I don't really want to go too far into the part, just have to get into this part. So if I just select and come up to here, and now let's do some trims. I don't need this or this. I don't need that. And that all trimmed up. Now let's get rid of this little niblet right there. And we'll come and get this little niblet right there. Alright, so it looks like we're good to go. Hit escape a few times. I don't need that line anymore. That's what I'm looking to extrude. So let's take and turn our part up here. And then let's turn back on the full drawing. And then we can start the extrude. Whoops. You can go up here to 3D model, grab the extrude button. And when you're grabbing that 3D model, it can be a little tricky to mouse back and forth over this. But just make sure it highlights properly, and then you can grab it. Now, the next thing you want to do is we want this to run up. Now, if you were to grab this tool here too and select, then it might run up to the other surface because it's seeing tangent. It's not going to necessarily see that particular surface. But if you come over to the next button here called to, it's going to recognize to the next surface, which is great, what we're looking for. Then we can hit OK. So now I can see I've got that stiffening web, or stiffening rib, I should say, in position. It's not running into the hole, and it's all set and ready to go to be laid out.